Alright gang, welcome back to our Can You Survive 25 challenge here on Zielonka. It is now May. Clearly I just bought some liquid fertilizer. We are going to fill up the greenhouses here for some more liquid fertilizer. They're doing okay in water because we had that water bin there, right? Obviously, and we spent a little bit of time dropping some water in there. I think the bin is getting close to being out of water. So soon enough, we're going to have to think about doing some kind of upgrade here to get a bigger water and liquid fertilizer storage chaser bin, whatever you want to call it, trailer, tank, whatever you want to call this thing. We're going to have to think about getting a bigger one here, I think, pretty soon to help assist us here. But for now, it's doing the trick. It's doing the trick. So we're going to need a little bit more liquid fertilizer here. Not a full trailer load, so I'm going to try to stop it, but it is a very quick fill. So we'll see how we do. We might have to just leave some in there for a little while until they chew through some of that fertilizer, and then we can dump the rest of it out, so then we can fill this thing up with some water. Obviously, after we've rinsed it out, of course. I think that's hopefully enough. 2,000 liters, hopefully. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well. It's a very cloudy day today in May, as you can see. And today, we've got some, we're pretty busy today, honestly. We've got a couple of things we need to accomplish. Mainly, we need to finish harvesting the final field, right? The beet field that we have on our land. We need to finish doing the harvest on that. Yeah, 25 liters. I was afraid of that. So we need to do that. Once that's accomplished, we need to re-drill both the fields. We did not re-drill the field that was full of carrots in the last episode, so we need to re-drill that. And then obviously re-drill the field that we're going to harvest today as well. Just going to leave it down here. Just going to unload whatever I can here in these last two. Obviously not much, but eventually, probably by the end of the episode, we will be able to unload the rest of that in there. So yeah, hopefully you're all doing well today. Things are good here, as good as they can be. Let's head over here and pick up the harvester here, because remember, we were just unloading it constantly while we were waiting on it to complete, right? And looks like we've got a pallet in the way that I wasn't really anticipating there, so I'm not really sure how I'm going to work this one, gang. I think I'm going to have to kind of push it a little bit to get it out of the way. Maybe we get lucky enough that I don't destroy the pallet there. Oh, we got it. Alright, we're good. Now, just make sure I don't run into this pallet, Z. Come on, buddy. Alright, well, that was not the most elegant thing, but we got it done, so that's good. Now, I will admit to you, this is likely to be the last episode we do on this series for a little while. We're going to take a little bit of a break. It's not going to be anything, you know, severely long, but a couple months or so. We're going to take a little break, and then we'll bring the series back at that point. Got some other ideas and other things planned, so we're going to take a bit of a break on this series and, you know, give ourselves a little bit of time to think about it a little bit more. Maybe think about some different plans and different ideas moving forward. But when we get back, it will be ready to go for us, right? It'll be all three fields will be in a state where they're in the growing period, so it'll be good for us. Now, what's it going to replace it? Well, initially, nothing's going to replace it. Eventually, something will, but initially, nothing's going to replace it. We are going to be running 3 series for a little while. I want to try to... I don't know, speed up's not really the word I want to utilize, but I guess I'm going to utilize it here. I want to... What do we want to put over here? I think we're going to put beets over here. Anyway, I want to kind of move the triple threat challenge along a little bit more. It's getting very close to the point where we could say that that series is done, and what I mean by that is we have very little of the loan left to pay off. We'll probably pay that off next time we have a big, massive harvest. We have the need to get a drill to put in green beans there, and the need to get the harvester. Those are really the things that are outstanding. And if we're able to replace, you know, 1 or 2 of this episode a week with that one or whatever it may be, I think it's going to help us move that along a little bit quicker. I think that is probably my least successful series, which is disappointing. I really wanted it to be a good series, and I wanted a lot of people to enjoy it, but it seems that that is not the case as much as I had expected. And that's perfectly fine. I mean, I could bring that series back again in the future and try to modify it and make it a little bit better, right? But overall, I'm very happy with that series, but I do think that is my least successful series. So, based off of that alone, you know, I kind of want to get that one moving along a little bit quicker so then we have the ability to put in a new challenge of some sort. Now, I've been working on some new challenges with my members, which, if you're interested, links down below in the description. Get access to videos like this one and a members appreciation series that comes out once a month. And during those series, we'll just do an actual series that we have running where we try to revive Grandpa's farm. Or we'll do something like we have been doing here recently, where we start to try to come up or formulate a new challenge. And I've got 2 of them now that I've done for my members, and I think both of them are absolutely very good series, that could replace that series in the future. Now, I am talking very candid here. That series is probably going to be going on for at least another 2 months, I would think. So we're nowhere near time to replace it, but I've mentioned this, I know, before to my members, and I'm sure I've mentioned it here as well. I do like to try my best to formulate a plan early, because while, you know, you start building this plan, like, man, that's a great idea, but then you get it, you know, off paper and onto the game, and sometimes it doesn't really come to fruition like you would like, right? So, I'll just run into that pole there. Z, good job, buddy. So I like to get the challenges kind of set on what I think the challenge should be. You know, what I mean by that is how much money we're going to start with, what you're allowed to start with, what you're allowed to do, not do, loans, etc., etc. And then try to, you know, test them out. And that's kind of what I do on some of those different videos for my members' appreciation. Is I start where the challenge that was in my head that I wrote down on paper, I put it, you know, as somebody would call it, pen to paper, right? I put that onto the actual game itself, sign off on it and say, is this going to work? And then just see how the members react and what their input is, if any, on that. So we are, I guess, the long story short, from everything I just mentioned, we are working towards the next challenge, whatever that is going to end up being. Now, I want to try to keep it a little bit different. You know, right now we've got this Can You Survive? So, you know, this is a series that's going to run the distance. A lot of people have mentioned they want me to run the survival challenge for the distance. I've mentioned it before. We are going to be running that one for quite a while, just because I'm having so much fun with it, and there's still a lot to do to really build that into a massive farm like I want it to be. But you could argue that we've already been successful on that series, right? We're making a lot of money. We don't, you know, it's not like we're struggling anymore on that series at all, right? So it's not even really a survival series anymore at this point because we're making so much money. So, but that's okay, right? I still want to run it, and I want to get it to a point. And we've got some other side things that we have to accomplish still in that series. Like the log cabin, right? We still haven't finished that. But I want to try to make, you know, my challenges that I'm running at the same time all different to a different aspect, right? So this one is one that's supposed to run for the entirety of FS25, obviously with breaks, as we're going to be doing here after this episode is over. And then we've got the investment challenge, which is a great challenge from Rusty Money Gaming. And that one, I would think, is in a similar boat. It's going to be running for a little while, but not as long as the survival challenge. And then this one, if we're going to take a break, obviously, what are we going to replace it with, right? Well, I want it to be different than the ones I just mentioned. So it's not going to be a survival challenge per se. I mean, it might have some survival aspects to it, but it's not going to be a start with no money, you know, with a couple pieces of equipment challenge. And then obviously it's not going to be, you know, an investment type of challenge because we've got that running, right? So it has to be something different from all of those. we might have to actually come out here and bring that plow out here. I didn't even notice that. I'm going to do that really quick. Bear with me here for a minute, gang. I don't really... I mean, it's not much. It probably isn't really going to provide a whole lot extra, but I don't want to leave that patch there and not have anything growing in it. I want to get the most we can out of this. And I understand I'm going to waste a little bit of seed because we drilled over part of it. That's okay. Not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal at all. Alright, that is all done. We should be good to drill over it now. Let me go put this back really quick and we'll start drilling again. So ideally, what I would like to do for the members series, right, is in the next month or two put out a third challenge out there. And that way, what I kind of anticipate or plan doing is allowing my members to make the choice on what the next series is going to be. Based off the, you know, the ones that we've already talked about and did during the Members Appreciation Series video. One was done in January, and then for March, we also did a challenge that was in my head and put it down on in the game and kind of saw how everyone reacted, right? So we've got two. I'd like to do a third one, so then there's 3 options to choose from for my members to pick what the next series is going to be. A lot of new maps came out, gang. A lot of new maps. The map I did the most recent challenge idea on for my members in March. I'm gonna get the name wrong. I'm not even gonna try to say it again. Because I'm gonna get it wrong. But anyway, I really like that map. I'm kind of leaning towards that map more than anything, at least right now. Things could change within 2 months or so, or whenever it is that we start the new challenge. But that's kind of what I'm leaning towards because I really, really enjoyed it. It's a European type of map. I think it's Polish more than likely. But I like it. It's got skinny fields, skinny long fields. I guess kind of similar to this series in an extent. This one has a lot of skinny, narrow fields. But it's not completely flat like this one. It's got some hills and some other, you know, aspects to it that are things that I typically look for and that I like in a map. So we're almost done here with the drilling. We're going to get the harvester right back out here as soon as this is done. Well, we're going to fertilize this first, then we're going to get the drill back out. And we're going to start drilling up the red beets over there. So we're going to have a lot of red beets, which is fine, but we're going to have a lot of red beets in there ready to go. And being created into some kind of red beet soup, canned soup product. Alright, we can fold this guy up. Go grab the harvester. Now this field's obviously not as big as that one over there, so it won't take as long as the last episode for the harvesting, but it will still take us a bit to get this guy harvested up. Root crop harvesting is not a fast process by any means. It is a slow process. I know a lot of people despise it, and I've mentioned this many times, but in case you just stumbled across this and have not watched any of the previous ones, for some reason, I do not dislike doing the root crops, but I hate doing potatoes, and potatoes are very similar. They're not exactly the same. I will fully admit that, but yeah, I can't really. Oops, did not mean to put that up there. I cannot really explain why that is the way it is, but it is. I still have to fertilize that field. I know I said I was going to fertilize it, but I changed my mind and decided I wanted to start the harvest first. But we will fertilize it, I promise. I won't forget. Alright, the beets are going in. We're underway. It's always very difficult when it comes to harvesting, right? To be able to get the two paths up here perfectly. You're always going to leave sections. I know I'm going to drive over this and it's not going to look that great, but just bear with it. But it's always difficult to pick up 2 at a time perfectly the whole way down. If I was to turn on the steering assist, right, it would just do 1 row at a time. I really like to try to do 2 rows at a time if at all possible. Like I said, it's not an easy thing to do. It's not perfect. You have to really hit this one specific spot. And if you deviate from that at all, just like I did there, you will not get both of them picked up at the same time. Now, what I would love to see come out on Mod Hub, and there's nothing there yet, but I would love to see, you know, a mod that it basically is the same thing as this, but it just has more forks that can pick up the carrots from the ground, right? Or the beets or the parsnips or whatever it is you're putting in there. Right now, this is technically only supposed to be a one-row harvester. Like I said, we've kind of figured out a way to, you know, trick it into a two-row harvester, but it's really only supposed to be a one-row. I would like to see this be a 3, 4, 5 row even, you know, and not have to be the big massive harvester, right? I mean, eventually the goal here hopefully is that we're able to purchase that and buy that, right? That big massive harvester, but it's $400 and some thousand, so we're nowhere near that amount, and we're not going to be near that amount for quite a while, right? So now, I suspect we're not going to be able to get all these beets into the production there. So a lot of these are probably going to go into the silo over there, which is fine, right? That's the reason we put that down. We had some other ideas in the last episode. None of them came to fruition, unfortunately. It just wasn't working as I had wanted or hoped or anticipated. So we had to make do and shift gears a little bit and went with the multi-fruit silo over there, which is a mod on Mod Hub. All right, good progress being made here, gang. Let's get to work here. Let's get this done. I don't know how long this is going to take. I suspect it's going to take a while, so it might be a bit of a time lapse here. I'll try to do the best I can to prevent any crazy turning or anything of that nature, but it is a little difficult to do given the actual harvester itself and the way that it's set up. It's hard to not have to turn the camera a lot to see what I'm doing here, so but I'll do the best I can to try to prevent that as much as possible. Let's get it done. All right, we are pretty much done here, gang. Just got to touch up this little spot here that I missed. Almost all of this entire field fit into the production, which is good, man. But the rest of this is probably going to have to go into the silo. I am going to top off the production once more, even though it's only going to probably accept another, 15, 20 liters. It is not as fast of a production as I had initially anticipated, but that's okay. Ran right into the production there. Come on, Z, get it together, buddy. Yeah, it took pretty much nothing. That's all right. But the rest of this will go into the actual silo itself. I decided just to go ahead and obviously dump these directly out of the harvester. Since we were so close, there was really no reason for me to drive over, get the trailer, bring it back here. So we'll unload these into the silo. We'll jump into the plow, get this field plowed up, and then we can jump into the drill and drill it. But before we do all of that, we will fertilize the field we drilled at the very beginning of the episode here, before I forget to do it. Okay. All in the silo. Perfect. Whippy Yui here will put the harvester away. Now, I want to make sure I state something really quickly here. From time to time, there may be a video that pops up on this series, even when we're doing a break. And what I mean by that is maybe there's a period of time where I'm just in the mood to do some root crop harvesting or whatever it may be, and maybe we just throw one out there as like a special every once in a while during the break. So while it is going to be a break for a month, 2, 3 months, whatever it may be, there's still a chance you might see an episode from time to time on this series during that break. Now, as far as what we're going to re-drill in the field behind us, I think I'm going to put carrots in there since we have parsnips still growing up on the most recent field we purchased. Up that way, right? So I think I'll put carrots in there. And then I think we'll rotate them around. I think eventually parsnips are going to go into this big field here that we put red beets in. I think that's where they'll go next. Oop. Hitting all kinds of buttons I don't need to be hitting. Alright, it is all done, so let's go drop this thing off. I'm not going to put it away because we're going to need it pretty much immediately here after we're done plowing up the field and drilling it, obviously. Alright, looks like rain is about to sneak up on us, so hopefully we can get this done before the rain gets here. Not that we can't do it while it rains, but it would get pretty muddy out here. We'd be having some wheel spin and be having a lot of issues here in the ground. We are going to have to figure something out for the stones here. There are some mods that recently came out, but again, they're not cheap. We looked at the used market already, I think. We didn't actually, but still, nothing really specifically in there for us. Nothing that we're going to really want. I mean, there's that water tank I guess we could utilize for the other farm, but we already have a bigger water tank there, so there's really no reason to grab that one, I don't think. No. Get off the worker. Get off the worker. Well, okay. This does have the option for us to do the unrealistic size in it. I don't necessarily know if I want to do that or not, but it does have that option for us. It would make it easier for us when it comes to unloading directly into that water distributor, right? But whenever it comes time for us to be able to, fill some of that up with fertilizer, right? Because we have to carry that still by hand. Well, I say by hand. We have to drive that over to the actual greenhouses themselves, right? It would be probably pretty difficult for me to stop the fill, because I'm assuming it's still going to be a fast fill for that as well. So me being able to stop it around the 3, 4, 5,000, maybe even 6,000 liter range of fertilizer, I would suspect it's going to be a lot more difficult than it might seem. So while it might be a good idea to go with that one, I'm leaning against it just based solely on that that latter fact, right? The fertilizer. The liquid fertilizer scares me a little bit. I guess we could just keep the other, the water bin chaser trailer. I guess we could keep that one and then utilize that one as specifically liquid fertilizer. I guess that's an option. Maybe we think about it a little bit more. Probably won't buy it in this episode, but maybe you never know. Whenever the episode comes back, whenever that may be, or the series I should say comes back, whenever that might be, maybe I have it. Who knows? Guess we'll find out when that time comes, right? Alright, it's all plowed up. Time to get started here with the carrots. This should be enough seed. I'm not going to necessarily worry about going back up there and getting more seed. This should be enough. And we're underway. The neighbors next to us have got a ton of weeds in that field, man. They need to get the sprayer out there. Now, we don't have anything as far as weeds go at all for Farm 2 here. We're plowing these fields up, so we really shouldn't need a whole lot. But if for some reason we end up starting to get some weeds somewhere, we will find something for it. I probably would go the weeder route. As you know, if you've watched my other series, I'm kind of into the whole hoeing and the weeding right now. I don't know, man. I think I just really enjoy the drilling of root crop more than anything. I don't know. I just like the way it looks. I like the way that it all interacts and runs and I don't know. I like it. Alright, gang, we are pretty much done here. This is the last little splash and dash here of fertilizer, and we are done. Looks like we actually might have to do a little bit of touch up there on the edge, because I'm not doing a perfect job here of going down the middle. That's alright. Another pallet spawned. It looks like they spawned on top of the other pallet, which wasn't really expecting, but that works too. So we've got a pallet of carrots and beets now, I believe. Red beet soup and carrot soup, yep. So, 2,000 liters of each, which, let's do a quick save here. I don't think they're best to sell right now. I don't think they are. But don't hold me to it. Let's see. Carrot soup is next month, June. 900. Not bad. What about beets? I'm assuming it's the same month, but I have been wrong before. Actually, red beets are right now. But if you look at the prices, they don't really fluctuate that much. So this might be a situation where we just, you know, say let's just put them on auto selling instead of having to deal with stacking them up and taking them to, you know, the shop. We might end up doing that. Obviously, we're going to have to take a couple of them because there's a couple of them that have spawned, but you get what I mean. All right, all done. We are good to go for the next time we decide to pick up this series. Like I said, we're going to go on a bit of a hiatus here, a little bit of a short break. Month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it may be. Maybe an episode from time to time sprinkled in. But we're going to take a break and see what's next for the series and for the challenge and for the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.